How to get rid of diabetes and poverty in under 6 months. I wanted to tell you a story about my mom. She started to develop diabetes in her like mid-60s, and that's on top of her heart disease that she already had for like solid 30 years. She had arrhythmia. Every time she would, stress out a little bit, just a little bit, she would just lay on bed and her heart, instead of beating like this, would go like this. So she would have absolutely no energy, pale, cannot eat anything, and that was chronic, and doctors could not do anything. She went to specialists, the best of the best, and she was taking really good medications, very expensive medications that just kind of like barely kept her alive, but could not cure anything. And the diabetes was very scary for her because her mother died having to have diabetes for like 15 years, and eventually it got so bad that she passed away. And my mother saw how her mother was suffering because she had to give herself the insulin shots like 3 times a day. And back in that time, it was actually, I think, needles or maybe some kind of other poking instrument, but it's like so painful. She, like, all her arms was covered with this like scars putting that needles in, right? And plus all the other symptoms of diabetes. It's horrible, And so she was very paranoid. She was like, okay, that's it. It's like the avalanche of bad luck coming to you, like you're developing something that's incurable and there is nothing you can do, and you feel so powerless and so scary. So that's how she felt. And I said, Mom, don't worry. You can get rid of that diabetes, and I can help you to also get rid of your heart disease, because I know the cause of it, a real cause of it. So let's start with diabetes because it's fresh. It's easier to get rid when it's just like kind of like starting. I said, you developing this disease because you do not enjoy the sweetness of life. And she's like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, that's what I'm saying. You do not enjoy the sweetness of life. You do not enjoy life. And it begins right here. It's a habit, you see. There is no such a thing as, I told her, genetic diseases. It's not the genes that we pass to our parents and grandparents. I mean, children and grandchildren. We pass on, or we take on the thought patterns, the negative thought patterns. So her mom was always working, always struggling, always like complaining, having that little bit of like a victim mentality that she didn't know she had. It was automatic in her. And so she developed bitterness towards her life. And how many like older people develop that bitterness? And now they develop the diabetes, right? And so my mother started to develop the same bitterness as a habit, even though life for her was not bad. It was good. Everything was beautiful. I mean, she was here down in, South Florida. It's gorgeous. So I said, we need to change your mind, or you have to, or you should, if you want to get rid of the diabetes, change your mind if you want the body to heal. Because the body is like a mirror. It just reflects what type of mental and emotional negativity, I call it garbage, we carry in our mind and emotions. And body just reflects that, because body is innocent. Body naturally was built strong and was designed to stay healthy for 100+ years. And diseases come when we, accumulate all that negative patterns. Self-criticism, huge. you know, guilt, shame, any type of negativity that we put towards ourselves. And then when we put it towards others, it's just a spill off to others. Like people who are like nasty to you, just imagine how they suffer themselves, how much poison they carry in their own being. What you get is like just a little bit of a spillover. Like they suffer tremendously from that. So, and it's amazing that people, or lots of people, would rather die than change their belief systems. It's amazing. They would rather suffer and die in poverty than to change their belief systems. And actually, I mentioned poverty because poverty is another mental disease. All you need to do to get wealthy or get that wellness, stability, that financial flow is to change your mind about your self-image and how you feel about yourself, actually. If you feel wealthy, if you feel secure, if you feel like everything is under control, then everything is under control. Somehow, where you put your attention, that's where your energy flows. And if you put your attention on being poor and it's always not enough and there is always lack, you will create that in your life. And it's such a simple, basic stuff. It's like, it's duh. And people do it automatically still, even though it's so simple to kind of like realize it and change it around. Where you put your attention, this is where you put your energy. And where you put your energy, this is what's happening in your life. So if you feel poor, you are poor. And some people, they, because of the fear of poverty, the fear is so strong, and now they struggle so much, and they manage to acquire some wealth, and actually they do have money, but inside they still feel poor, and they still suffer, and they're still afraid, like they're gonna be broke, like there's lack, like it's never enough, and then they start to get grabbed. So coming back to the story about my mother, I told her, please, Mom, let's just try, because she didn't believe what I said. She was like, yeah, sure. Let's just try to catch, whenever you start to think some critical thoughts, some bad thoughts, because it's so automatic, because you're addicted to those thoughts. It's actually an addiction. People addicted to sadness, people addicted to anger, and you probably know people like this. When you say something a little bit wrong and they get like, angry, and you go like, oh, you're walking on the eggshells around them just because they always flame up like this. Or you say something and they start crying and they get depressed. When my mother was addicted to that bitterness and that depression, you know, if I said something like a little bit off, she would go to the self-criticism loop right away, like so fast and so automatic, and she would just crumble, and she was like just hurting so bad, and she would stop talking, she'd be so depressed and down, the whole energy would go like a black hole, or like such a heavy dark energy, and I'm like, oh no, not again, how do I lift it up? And then I know, and actually I noticed I was addicted to that sadness and to that loop, but I became conscious of it early in life, so I was kind of like, I had it under control. Well, early, like in my 30s, not that early. So I said, listen, let's just try. As soon as you notice that loop of negative emotions or negative thoughts, just catch them right away. And then talk to your own mind like it's a toddler. Because mind can be really tricky, because it's like to play. It's a really playful thing. And if you don't express your mind in a very playful thing, if you're not like creative, if you're not spontaneous in life, if you're always trying to like put it to work and focus, concentrate, survival, then the mind gonna kind of revolt, and it's gonna play tricks on you, because mind is playful. It's like a little kitten, I call it like a little puppy, loves to play. So it can be a great trickster, or it can be so much fun. So I said to her, listen, just talk to her, to your own mind, and say, listen, I know what you're doing. You're getting to that bad loop again. You're gonna play tricks on me. Nah, nah, nah. I see what you're doing. It's like you play hide and seek with your own mind and your own thought patterns. And it becomes kind of fun, you know, and it's kind of like almost laughable. And just like, I know what you're doing. No, 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 no. I'm not gonna let you. So you talk to it like a toddler, and the mind responds. It has kind of like the mind of its own, and goes like, oh, you see me? It's like, yeah, I see you. And then it's like positive conversation with your mind. And it's like, no, listen, I'm not gonna go there anymore. It's like, I'm going to enjoy it. Let's just do something fun, you know? And the mind is so ready to do something creative and fun, and some, like, engage in some new projects. And that's what you need to do to, like, keep yourself up and start actually enjoying life, right? So we started to do this process with my mom, and she started to catch herself, and I would remind her all the time. And little by little, it took her months to start to actually get into this momentum of catching it, and then turning around her bitterness into playfulness and fun. And I saw how little by little the woman just was shedding all this negativity, all this depression, and she was getting more fun and more light, and her energy was clearing. And I gave her some more clearing meditations. When you feel that bad energy, you actually acknowledge it, the sadness or that depression, and you imagine a balloon outside of your aura. Imagine a balloon, and you put all that negative energy in the balloon, and you send the balloon far, far in the sky, and then you poof, explode it. And it's like release of that negative energy. Now it's free to create something else, and you don't have it in your body anymore. I wish you saw my hand, because I'm like so. So, so yeah, with these techniques, little by little, she was getting better. And then she went to doctor 6 months later, and she had absolutely perfect blood sugar levels. And she went for a test just recently, after like another half a year passed, and it stays perfectly normal. And a couple days ago, she called me, and she said that she went for her cardiogram for her heart, and the doctor said that her cardiogram is of an 18 years old. That lady who was passing out from heart disease, her heart now is as of 18-year-old, just because she cleared all that negativity from her mind and the emotions that followed the negative mind, negative emotions, and her body now healed, because her body doesn't need to reflect that congestion anymore, because the negative thoughts and all this, sadness and anger, it's all hurting the body. It's all reflected in the body. When you don't have it, there is nothing to reflect, and the body naturally, normally just heals. And when you relax into this happiness, you relax into this playful mode, your automatic nervous system kicks in more, and it just restores the body naturally. You don't have to do anything at all. And so when I heard about her heart, the diabetes, I knew I'm gonna get rid of it. I knew it was not a big deal. But her heart problems, that she had it for a long time. And when I heard that, I'm like, Mom, I'm so happy for you. I was jumping up and down, and guess how happy she is now. And she's completely, now she's like late 60s, nothing, and no fear of anything, because now she knows, and she experienced it in her own body, how disease is created and how it can be uncreated. And so I just want to share this story with you, because guys, you probably know somebody who suffers, maybe yourself, you harboring something. I'm telling you, if you clearing the mind, the emotions, the body will follow, and it's not necessary to be either sick or poor. And poverty, again, is just another mental disease. It's all about self-image. It's all about what you think is possible. The poverty is what you think is possible, or rather impossible. Because if you say to your mind that I can't do that, I cannot have so much money, I cannot have this house, I cannot, then your mind is so powerful that it will make sure that you cannot. It's completely self-defeating mechanism. And if you say to yourself, yes, I can, and you know that you can, and you feel that you can, make sure you feel that you can, because if you lie to yourself, your mind goes like, no, you can't. Who are you kidding, you know? Look at what you've done before. Of course you can't. All your history proves it. But if you say to yourself, oh no, I can, because I'm an unlimited, powerful son or the daughter of God, how is anything impossible for me? Like, anything is possible. I can do what, I mean, I'm such a powerful creator. And the mind knows it. And when your mind hears it, it goes like, I know that. The mind knows a lot, by the way. More than you think it knows. So if you tell your mind, I can, to have whatever you want to have, then your mind, your powerful, brilliant mind, will make sure that you will have that. And if deep down you still think that you can't, and you're like, oh yeah, you can't, then then if you really still believe that you can't, then the mind will make sure that you're gonna involve in some kind of like self-defeating mechanisms, you know, something will go wrong, the accidents and everything, even if it's subtle. So make sure you catch the subtleties and just stay in this state of mind that yes, I can. And if you do have a long-term habit, a long-term chronic disease of poverty, then it will take a little bit of time, just like in case of diabetes and the heart disease, to like kind of like unwind it and condition yourself to remember that yes, you can, that yes, I can have whatever I want to have. And it's a gradual process. You know, that's why I always like get rich fast schemes. It doesn't work not because it's impossible from the financial point of view. You can get fast with something. It's a state of mind that you need to little by little adjust. So the state of mind of being a little bit more wealthy and a little bit more wealthy, it's an expansion. It's an expansion of your consciousness, of your wealth consciousness. It's expansion of your health consciousness, and it takes some practice, and it takes some time. Usually, you can probably get, in the very, very rare cases, you can just overnight win change. But I don't know anyone like this. Even Buddha had to sit under the tree for a while to get, you know, enlightened. Even for him, it was a process, you see. So step on the path of your greatness. Take one step, and then another step, and then another step, and then another step. And then, before you know it, you're going to look back and it's like, oh my God, I am in a completely different place. In my health, in my wealth, in my happiness, and in my self-image. So just step on the path and make another step. It's not that hard. It's not that hard. It does take a little bit of determination, and when you do connect with your soul purpose, that energy of inspiration is what gonna help you. Is the energy that will help you on this path, to stay on this path. So somehow find the inspiration, somehow connect to this elevated emotions that will carry you forward. I call it inspiration. You can call it elevated emotions. It's the same thing. Inspiration causes elevated emotions, and inspiration means that you are in spirit, that you're connected with your own spirit, with your purpose, with your light, with your love, with your, you know, high vibration self. And then nothing is impossible, nothing. And to stay on this path of this expansion, what I would suggest and what I use is some kind of spiritual practice. Even if it's 5 minutes a day, that's enough to remind yourself of your greatness and to connect to your sort of divine high vibration self, to the gratitude, to the love, you know, to that expanded energy versus that energy of congestion and collapsing, of like fear and you know, guilt and shame. That's what's created disease and poverty. So expansion. And so I wrote the 5-minute book meditation. I give it for free, guys. You can just go to my website, click get my free book and download it. And actually I'm gonna give you a link below this video. Just click on the link, download the book, because it gives you 5 brilliant meditations that you can do only for 5 minutes a day. And don't tell me you cannot find 5 minutes a day to explode in your greatness. You know, you can probably, I don't know, cut your shower time by 5 minutes. You'll find 5 minutes. It's possible. Everything is possible. So download the book today. It's just, I don't know, like 15 pages. It's not a big deal. And pick one meditation, just one, and it's enough to start. And, you know, go with it. Go with it, and then you're gonna find yourself in the better places. I promise you.